In San Antonio, Texas, stands a building smaller than a city block. Its walls are scarred, its chapel humble, a weak military fort. Santa Anna himself dismissed it as barely worthy of the name. Yet, for 13 days in 1836, something extraordinary happened. This is the incredible story of defiance at the Alamo. How could 200 Texans fight off an army of 4,000? But before delving into the battle itself, we must first grasp its origins. This wasn't just a chance encounter. Instead, it marked the clash of two opposing visions for Texas's future. Its central figures were among the 19th century's most unique individuals. In 1835, Texas was officially under Mexican rule. Part of the state, American migrants, known as Texians, had flooded the area for more than 10 years, attracted by affordable land and the chance for prosperity. Stephen F. Austin secured favorable terms for their arrival, and countless individuals moved in. They brought their distinct culture, language, customs, and firm beliefs. Mexico, however, held different plans. General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna was more than just a military leader. He served as Mexico's president. Furthermore, he was an individual who had for decades amassed influence through any available method. He initially fought for Mexican independence from Spain. Later, he opposed it. Ease, implying ambition, always outweighed his principles. By 1835, he had already dissolved the Mexican Congress and eliminated the 1824 Constitution, which protected state rights. He seized total power. For the Texians, this act was unacceptable. The Constitution of 1820 formed their legal claim for settling Texas. With dictatorship in a foreign land devoid of any legal safeguards. Resistance erupted in October 1835 with isolated clashes, and soon these developed into a full-blown revolution. By late 1835, events were unfolding favorably for the Texians. They seized San Antonio de Bexar that December. General Martin Perfecto de Cos, who was Santa Anna's brother-in-law, inked a surrender deal and led his soldiers back over the Rio Grande. The victorious Texians returned home, or most of them did. The conflict. However, they utterly failed to anticipate Santa Anna's next actions. The fortification where the remaining Texians were stationed wasn't very. It was one of many Spanish Franciscan establishments spread through Texas to evangelize native populations. It had been adapted for military purposes, though not very thoroughly. Spanning 3 acres, it presented. That's a massive length of wall for any military post, especially for the small group attempting to secure it. Their height varied between 9 and 12 feet. Engineer Green B. Jameson toiled relentlessly to strengthen these walls, placing 19 cannons along the perimeter and building wooden walkways. He expressed confidence to Sam Houston. However, Houston, who knew the danger and had ordered the Alamo destroyed and evacuated as indefensible, remained unconvinced. The eventual commander of the Alamo's forces was a mere 20. William Barrett Travis came to Texas only 5 years prior, escaping a broken marriage and a defunct Alabama career. He carried little but fierce ambition and a strong belief in his future. Travis had worked as a teacher, pursued legal studies. He also immersed himself in every dispute he found between Texians and Mexican officials, gaining a name as a disruptor, an instigator, precisely the sort of person essential. He was quite vain and dramatic. His diary entries reflected a man convinced history observed him, and in that, he was entirely correct. James Bowie served alongside him in an uneasy co-command. While Travis was a lawyer imagining himself a soldier, Bowie was truly the real, a frontiersman of legendary aggression. His name was linked to the distinctive fixed blade knife he popularized during a Louisiana sandbar fight in 1827. Bowie possessed connections, spoke fluent Spanish, and was respected by both Texians and Tejanos, the Mexican-born Texans who had. He implored the temporary government to maintain control of the Alamo, arguing its fall would grant Santa Anna an unobstructed path into central Texas. Finally, there was Davy Crockett. Crockett reached San Antonio on February 8, 1836, alongside a small group of Tennessee volunteers, and his presence revitalized the atmosphere within the fort. At 49, he was an ex-congressman, a true American icon whose adventurous stories and frontiersman fame. He departed Tennessee in dismay after his congressional defeat, allegedly stating to his voters, "You may all go to hell, and I will go to Texas." He brought his fiddle to the Alamo, playing. His presence energized the defenders. These were the individuals. Officially, there were 189 men listed. However, historians generally agree the actual count neared 200. These men hailed from 23 different states and 7 nations. Their ages ranged from 16 to 56. They included legal professionals, agriculturalists, ex-soldiers, thrill-seekers, and a disfavored congressman. Santa Anna crossed the Rio Grande in February 1836, an entire month sooner than anyone within the Alamo had foreseen. He pushed his troops through severe winter chill, sacrificing men and horses to the elements. Yet he reached the city on February 23rd with his vanguard of about 1,500 soldiers, while thousands more were en route to reinforce him. Travis and Bowie received warnings. Scouts. They mostly disregarded these warnings. Certain Santa Anna wouldn't travel in winter, wouldn't arrive so quickly, and couldn't already be so near. Santa Anna's initial move was a psychological one. He commanded a blood-red flag be raised from San Fernando Church's tower. It was clearly visible from the Alamo. No mercy. Surrender at once or face execution by sword. Every defender within those walls would be slain if they opted to resist. Travis's reaction was swift and impressive. He commanded the Alamo's huge 18-pound cannon to be loaded, firing it directly at the Mexican. That evening, Travis penned the letter destined to immortalize him. Sent to the populace of Texas and all Americans globally, it stands as a truly remarkable document in American history. I am besieged. I have sustained a continual bombardment and cannonade for 24 hours and have not lost a single man. The enemy has demanded a surrender at discretion. Otherwise, the garrison is to be put to the sword if the fort is taken. I have answered this demand with a cannon shot, and our flag still waves proudly from the wall. He dispatched messengers through openings in the Mexican defenses, delivering that crucial letter globally. Then he awaited reinforcements. Ultimately, that assistance never materialized. 13 days. The siege's duration was. It was an exhausting, relentless, and progressively desperate struggle. Santa Anna's artillery pounded the Alamo without cease, with his gunners frequently shooting all through the night. The Texian sharpshooters demonstrated exceptional precision. When Mexican foot soldiers attempted to move within firing distance, those skilled marksmen. Experts disagree on whether it was typhoid, pneumonia, or a mix of both, but by early March he was bedridden, too feeble to stand, which left Travis solely in charge. Though frail, Bowie apparently managed to get himself up daily around midday, so the soldiers in the fort could see him, determined not. Travis dispatched messenger after messenger beyond the Mexican encirclement, with each bearing desperate requests for aid. He addressed letters to Colonel James Fannin, located in. Correspondence was also sent to the interim administration. Furthermore, he messaged Sam Houston, Once more, his letters reached the inhabitants of Texas and beyond. Famine began. The temporary government was immobilized by internal disputes. Houston was attending the Constitutional Convention and no help arrived. However, 32 individuals from Gonzales, located 70 miles. Despite understanding the dire situation they faced, they still came. These 32 men breached the Mexican defenses on the evening of March 1st, entering the Alamo to fervent cheers from the defenders. By March 2nd, representatives at the 1836 convention had proclaimed Texas a sovereign republic. Consequently, the individuals within the Alamo were formally engaged. The majority of those men would not learn this. Tradition recounts that by March 5th, Travis assembled his troops and marked a boundary. Every man except one stepped across. Moses Rose, an older French veteran, reportedly stated he was not yet prepared to perish and fled that evening by scaling the fortifications. This tale was only recorded many decades afterwards. Its accuracy is questioned by historians. By the morning of March 6th, chose to stand firm. Prior to dawn on March 6, 1836, Santa Anna had faced strong urging from his commanders to await formidable siege cannons that could easily demolish the Alamo's defenses, bringing outside this adobe-built mission for almost 2 weeks. And such a postponement was humiliating for Mexico's most influential figure. He desired its completion. During his war council on March 5th, he revealed striking all 4 sides concurrently and swamping the Alamo's occupants by assailing them from all angles simultaneously. His commanders voiced concerns, but he dismissed their objections. At 5 a.m. on March 6th, enveloped by darkness and extreme cold, around 100 to 800 Mexican troops. Strict commands compelled them to remain quiet until the bugle player initiated the assault signal. For several minutes, they progressed silently, like specters. The Alamo's occupants were roused by the Diguelo call, an old Mexican bugle signal signifying no clemency, no sanctuary, and no escape for combatants who fought back. He then issued his men these commands. "Let's go, men. The Mexicans are attacking, and we'll make them regret it." Almost instantly, cannons from the Alamo's ramparts ripped through the progressing Mexican formations, causing widespread destruction. Explosive rounds filled with the initial assault group retreated with appalling losses. A subsequent wave then advanced and likewise was pushed back. Mexican records characterized the Texian gunfire as remarkably potent and precise, and ceased from understanding the gravity of failure. However, the sheer numerical disparity proved insurmountable. During the third attack, Mexican troops, with soldiers now inside the perimeter, the fighting radically shifted, becoming room-to-room combat and hand-to-hand. Soldiers battled with their rifle stocks, blades, and unarmed in the narrow barrack passageways. By 6:30 a.m., the conflict concluded. James Bowie succumbed in his illness-ridden bed, eliminating Mexican troops from his entryway until he ran out of bullets. The precise circumstances of Davy Crockett's death continue as one of history's major unanswered questions. A journal belonging to a Mexican officer unearthed in 1955 asserts that Crockett, along with a small contingent of survivors, was seized and subsequently executed by Santa. What is certain, however, is that he perished at the Alamo on the morning of March 6, 1836, at 49 years of age, far from his home state of Tennessee. Each defender within those fortifications was Mexican losses are believed to range from 600 to 1,500 soldiers, who were either killed or injured in 90 minutes of intense, confined fighting against fewer than 200 combatants. The females and young ones within the Alamo Santa Anna provided each with a coverlet and 2 silver. Among these survivors, Susanna Dickinson, the spouse of a defender, was most notable, being accompanied to Gonzales alongside her infant girl. Santa Anna's aim was quite intentional. He desired these women to precede his forces, spreading word of the Alamo's defeat, thereby terrorizing the populace. The bodies of the defenders were piled and set alight on a pyre that afternoon. Their remains were simply abandoned on the exposed soil where they lay. This provoked a large-scale migration of colonists heading east towards the US frontier, a desperate flight which earned the name Runaway Scrape. For several weeks, it appeared Texas could totally crumble, with its military disbanding, its leadership escaping, and its inhabitants living in fear. However, Travis's communication, composed on the evening the siege commenced, had been printed in various papers throughout the United States. The depiction within it of 200 individuals opting for certain demise. People volunteering from throughout America commenced crossing into Texas. Rather than disbanding, the Texian military became more formidable. 46 days after the Alamo's fall, on April 21, 1836, Sam Houston's force of around 900 soldiers executed a sudden assault. The skirmish concluded in 18 minutes. The Texians attacked, shouting 2 phrases, "Remember the Alamo, remember Goliad." Santa Anna's encampment was overwhelmed with astonishing thoroughness. Santa Anna himself got apprehended the subsequent. He then endorsed agreements that acknowledged Texas as a self-governing republic. The Alamo had not merely gained time in a straightforward. It provided the Texas Revolution with its very spirit. It converted a political disagreement concerning taxes and constitutional liberties into a deeply emotional. The actions these 200 men took within the Alamo's confines, fully aware they would perish, constituted a distinct form of declaration. This doesn't concern the political paper. Despite requests for their surrender, they responded by discharging a cannon. A particular aspect of the events that followed truly captivates my thoughts. She described the plight of the 32 men from Gonzales, who entered the compound amidst its siege, fully aware of the perilous. These were local residents. Susanna Dickinson considered Gonzales her hometown. Her duty was to inform the townsfolk that their fathers, husbands. That evening, the settlement was cleared of its inhabitants. Subsequently, Houston set it alight to deny its utility to the Mexican army. A contingent of 200. A further 32 willingly entered, though none were obligated to, and everyone comprehended the significant ramifications. Roughly the size of one urban block, the Alamo featured remarkable. Should this narrative resonate with you, as it consistently does with me, please pass it along to another history enthusiast. Make sure to subscribe. Bear the Alamo